Yeah, so this video is going to be about this coronavirus and how they was telling us before, ahead of time, that that it was finna happen. And this ain't finna stop. Cause like she said, that doctor said, it's finna go to like 2000, basically until we ain't on this earth no more, because they made it that way. They made sure that way. They made whatever, the cold, the flu, pneumonia, SARS, and I just believe they combined some of that shit together and came up with that coronavirus and made it stronger to where it's starting to kill people. But still, it's kind of crazy because it's not, I don't know, it's just crazy. But it's like 20 movies, Outbreak movies, from Seven Seagull to Contagion. And you know, and they say we're not saying that this is inspired by recent events that filled us with terror and insomnia, but we're saying that if you happen to relate to that feeling, here's a list of very chaotic movies about virus outbreaks to get you through it. So the Seven Single, that was made in 1957. If you haven't if you haven't seen Ingram Berman's masterpiece, Drop Everything and Do It Now, if only so you can finally understand the context for half the jokes in Bill and Ted Bilovich bogus journey set during the Black Death Plague of the 1300s. Then you got The Last Man on Earth. That was made in 1964. The Omega, 1971. And I Am Legend, 2007. So all them movies was saying basically they was the last people on earth, or they was the well, relating to the I Am Legend movie, it was like he was the only person to survive. To be the cure to turning the vampires back human. And I think these other movies, let me see. Richard Madison, 1954 novel I Am Legend inspires 3 different adaptations. All of them have in common is that a plague wiped out most of humanity and the survivors, save the main character, have been turned into essentially vampires. Will Smith, 2007 film, kept the title but removed pretty much everything related to the book's big twist. Vincent Price, charming 1964 film, preserves the plot best but has the lowest budget. But still, they already made movies. The Andromeda Strain, 1971. Michael Crichton novel. A scientist investigating an infection organism that fell on Earth from space. See? Dawn of the Dead. When the people, I seen this too. That's the people, dead people. Outbreak. I seen this is about Dustin Hoffman and Cuban Jr. and a monkey. A monkey got a hold to some disease and the man transported it as a pet and scratched the people and the virus just transferred, and they had to shut that city down, that town down. 12 Monkeys. Terry Gilliam's sci-fi classic stars Bruce Willis as a time traveler set back in the 1990s to identify the origin of the global pandemic that nearly wiped out humanity. Cabin Fever. They got this flesh-eating virus in the water. Resident Evil. The only things you need to know about the multi-film franchise on the Capcom video games is that Evil Corporation creates a virus that turns into humanity to zombies. Elon's Roth directional debut follows a direction of recent college graduates who became infected with a flesh-eating virus during a camping trip. 28 Days. Danny Boyle's excellent 2003 original and his very superior sequel directed by Juan Carlos. The world is beset by viral pandemic. Turns anyone into permanent enraged monsters. Carriers. In this post-apocalyptic drama, 4 friends who survive a global pandemic road trip to a place they can hopefully live in peace. Spoiler, things don't work out, but it has Chris Pine, Emily Van Camp, Christopher Malin, and Piper Perabo. Plus, anyway, these is earliest pre-Mad Men roles. Blindness. Let me see. Based on what happens when the world is hit by a pandemic that renders people blind. Black Death. Sean Bean gets into a warm-up session for his career-defining role as Ned Stark. Here as a leader of a group of knights searching for a heretic during the 14th. This is the 14th century. This is supposed to be during dragons and all that. Supposedly. They had a plague back then. Planet of the Apes. Contagion. World War Z. All these movies, honorable mention. All these movies, it was telling us and was warning us. These ain't just movies, man. People just look at these as true enough, they're entertainment. But it's be messages in these movies. It be messages in these cartoons. It be messages in these episodes, these series that be coming on. These different series you be watching every day, every night, like a soap opera. It be messages in them cartoons that your kids be watching. Gravity Falls. That's one cartoon that have a lot of messages. You know what I'm saying? It's so many cartoons that got messages in them, but y'all take them as just jokes or just it's just the script how that person wrote that. It's like these movies, and people constantly make videos on YouTube about these movies be real, be telling the truth, and people take them as entertainment and they don't break them down and dissect them. You know what I'm saying? And it's not for everybody. It's just I'm just talking to the ones that's on that path. You know what I'm saying? That's looking at stuff like, why is this like this? Is why is they saying this? Why they make these movies? This movie was made in 1957. The other movie I showed, Black Death, was made in the 14th damn century. Black Death. It was set in the 14th century. It was made 2010, but it was set in the 14th century. That's how far this shit, they minds go back with this shit, man. So people, y'all better wake up and realize that this shit is a game. Because I feel like if you the head of the country, you making the laws, you running everything, and if you ain't up there with no mask and no gloves on, and you close to these other people that's up there with you, and y'all ain't 6 feet apart, and y'all steady ain't got no mask and no gloves on, but y'all steady traveling and going different places and going here and there, but y'all expect for the public to take stuff seriously. That's just like the police. When people see the police breaking the law, they be confused. Like, you know what I'm saying? What is this about? But it's all a game because these laws and these rules is fake. They just set to keep us in line. Because a lot of us is dead in the mind. We don't think for ourselves. So they think, well, if we think for them, then it'll be best for them. They can't think for themselves. And that's a damn lie because you're an adult. You think enough for yourself to go get a job. You think enough for yourself to go get your own food. You survive on your own. So how you need somebody else, another grown person that can't even keep their household in line, come tell you what to do? I don't care if they black, white, I don't care what color they is. I understand people giving you advice. That's cool. You get advice from a grown person, another grown person, but not another grown person telling you, you got to do this. You got to do that. I'm not no kid. I was long ago a kid. I'm far from a kid now. But a lot of adults still have their mind as a kid, so they feel that they need them rules and them regulations and them codes and them all that bullshit. You, as a human, know within your body, your mind, and your soul what's right and what's wrong. I'm talking about black people, because this is on my channel. You know what's right and what's wrong at the end of the day. So for you to be sitting here talking about we need these rules, we need this, you don't need no another motherfucker to tell you what to do. You know you got to take care of your kids. And if you ain't got no kids, you know you got to take care of yourself. Your bills. You don't need no another person to tell you no rules and regulations. So back to what I was saying. Like, that's why now that goes hand in hand and why we here at this point to this day. Because we was too busy listening to what they was saying And behind the curtains, they was developing all these viruses and diseases and shit. Now we look at today. Now we got this bullshit, corona fucking virus. And they was telling us the whole time in all these movies. And they still got movies out on Netflix, Hulu, telling us what they gonna do, what they plans is. Ain't like they ain't telling us. They might not be telling us every fucking thing, but they telling us majority of the shit, or most of it, or what we need to know at this moment in time to get our shit together. So, black folks, get it together. If you get a chance, look at these movies. Since everybody on a timeout anyway. Look at The Seventh Seal again, 1957. The Last Man on Earth, 1964. The Omega Man, 1971. I Am Legend, 2007. The Andromedon Strain, 1971. Dawn of the Dead, 1978 to 2004. Outbreak, 1995. 12 Monkeys, 1995. Cabin Fever, 2002. And they got a lot of, I think they got like 2 more remakes of Cabin Fever. Not 2 more remakes, but I think like part 1 and part 2. I believe they got that. Resident Evil series, 2002 through 2017. 28 Days Later, 2003. 28 Days Later, 2007. Carriers, 2009. Blindness, 2008. Black Death, 2010. Rise of the Planet of the Apes, 2011. And that was a remake from the 1960s and the 1970s Planet of the Apes. Contagion, 2011. World War Z, 2013. Honorable mention. And say, we saved the best for last. It's not just a surprisingly great 90s artifact, but about computer geeks fighting an evil corporate techie with a dope soundtrack and a cast packed with virtual unknowns who would go on to huge fame and acclaim, including No Really, Wendy Price, Lorraine Matthew, Johnny Lee Miller, and Angela Jolie, plus the criminally underrated Lawrence Madison as the villain played by Fisher Stevens. It's also a movie about a virus outbreak. See, that's what I'm saying. Okay, a computer virus, but after all the death you see in those other movies, hackers. Okay, this is about a computer virus, but yet and still, a computer virus can wipe out the whole. You know what I'm saying? Everything that's so. Yeah, and Contagion is really what we're going through right now. Where we gotta stay in the house and stay separated and all this and all that. So, yeah. So, people, let's get it together and be safe out there. Safeguard your families and have a nice rest of your day. Peace out.